Hello, Professor Ward and students of Communication 4. This is Groups 5 film analysis. We decided to do our film on Avengers Infinity War. This movie is the 19th movie in the Avengers universe and the Avengers series. It's directed by Anthony Russo and Joe Russo. It's produced by Kevin Feige with Marvel Studios, with distribution through Disney Animation and Studios. This is our poster board. Marvel Studios is the main contributor to the Avengers movies. It's part of their franchise, combined with Walt Disney Studios. Um, the first Avengers movie came out was Iron Man, which began the series that started the Marvel Universe with the Avengers included in it. Marvel first began as a comic book and was written by Martin Goodman with major contributors Stan Lee to different characters and different portions of Marvel. Um, this movie included the ensemble cast members, which included Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, and many other superheroes that made up the the cast of this movie. It begins with Thanos, the evil uh, man in the universe. He wants the Infinity Stones to be able to take over the universe and do what he wants to whatever planet he wants at the time. And the superheroes in this movie work together to fight against Thanos and accomplish a common goal of defeating him and destroying the Infinity Stones so he cannot uh, take hold of them. The movie battles on different planets and throughout the universe. It brings in many different characters from different um, plots and things. It all ties in with the common goal of defeating Thanos. This movie, we all noticed the team talk in it, which from modules in class and readings in class, we all noticed the interdependence talk and the balance of power throughout the movie between the characters. They had discussions on accomplishing the main goal of defeating Thanos. The balance of power was issued through the different superheroes that were sharing the same amount of screen time during the movie. The social equity talk that we noticed, they talk to each other as equals and we're not using titles. They use negotiation talk to problem solve and figure out what best situations would work for the characters and how their plans would unfold to destroy Thanos. Nonverbal and verbal communication is seen throughout the movie through interactions between the cast members. They interact with each other verbally when they're communicating through meetings and different scenarios to where they're discussing their plans to defeat Thanos. And nonverbal is seen through hand gestures, uh, eye communication, eye contact, and um, is noticeable throughout the film. Our next presenter, Logan Keach, is going to speak on the analysis of the film.
All right. Thank you, Josh. Okay. So the movie Avengers Infinity War deals with several themes, but the recurring theme of teamwork and specifically how team talk helps our heroes is one that we want to focus on. So what makes this movie's use of team talk unique is that the movie is based around already two established superhero teams, the Avengers and the Guardians of the Galaxy, working together to stop one of the largest threats they've had to deal with. So the first element that of team talk that I want to discuss is conflict management talk, which happens during the first half of the movie. Peter Quill, Drax, and Mantis, which are members of the Guardians, meet up with Tony Stark, Doctor Strange, and Peter Parker, which are members of the Avengers, for the first time. Both groups are very hostile towards each other at first, and perceive each other's group as a threat, and they fight each other and do not make an effort to communicate at all. Once the fighting dies down, they converse with each other and eventually realize that they're fighting the same goal. So the two groups then come together as one and plan out how they can defeat Thanos. Later in the movie, the group comprising of all the people mentioned earlier recognize each other as their own team and are for the most part cooperative and polite with each other as they discuss their strategies and ideas. They start using interdependence talk around this time, using pronouns such as we and us to address everyone in this new group. And despite some elements of positive team talk, you could also argue that this movie contains negative elements as well. So the reason why the heroes end up losing in the movie is due to poor communication, because there are two teams rising of Avengers and Guardians members that are in two different locations, all trying to defeat one guy, which is Thanos. And they fail due to not everyone in the team being there to help, and they let Thanos get away. So, while Avengers Infinity War contains elements of positive team talk to assemble teams of people who just met, it also shows the negative side when teams fail due to new teams be assembled too quickly, and when not every key member is there to help accomplish.
Thank you, Logan. Our next speaker, Jose Torres, will be speaking on the discussion.
Hi, my name is Jose Torres, and I assign myself the discussion portion in our film analysis. The Avengers Infinity War falls into the assembly portion because it's a team, and they assemble to stopping Thanos in this movie. And the team, like Joshua says, it includes Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Black Widow, Captain America, and Hawkeye. And before every battle or before they they face something big or a conflict, Captain America always says, "Oh, Avengers assemble," at the beginning, and well, that's just showing them that they're a team and it's not a one-man thing. There's a bunch of team talk, just like Joshua said. For example, is when they were in Wakanda. You know how they had to stop the minions from getting around the castle, from stopping Vision from being Infinity Stones. They communicated well and sort of failed, but that's not the point right now. There's humor. There's no humor without an Avengers movie. One scene is when Doctor Strange and Bruce Banner met up in the beginning of the movie. Iron Man wanted Bruce Banner to come out into the Hulk, but Hulk was too scared in the beginning. He almost died to Thanos. And the part word for word is Iron Man said, "It's been a minute now. It's good. It's a good time. It's a good thing to have you." And it was pretty embarrassing. Embarrassing in front of the Wizards. And in my opinion, it's pretty hilarious. The film uses a lot of us and we because the film is a team, like I said, and they shared acknowledgement and needs because Thor needed Groot and Rocket to recover his hammer, even though he lost it in the previous movies. They needed Groot's a piece of his arm to make hammer, and overall, this film was about working together and trying to stop Thanos from collecting all 6 stones. Even though they failed, they still came in area of agreements and solutions to try to stop him.
Thank you, Jose. Our next speaker is going to be Jasmine, and she'll be speaking on the conclusion.
I'm Jasmine Press, and I'll be presenting the conclusion. In conclusion, the Avengers Infinity War was a great film that also was demonstrated by the great teamwork that the Avengers and these heroes had. Although there was some conflict in the beginning, like the Avengers being separated and knowing where to direct the leadership, this was resolved. For example, the leadership was decided that everyone would work in unison, and they overcame the conflict that they had before. before. Something else that this film demonstrated was the trust that the Avengers and the heroes had in each other. Iron Man left Earth even though he was the main hero on Earth, but he trusted the Avengers to resolve and keep safe the stone that was left on Earth. Something else that demonstrated trust were some heroes that trusted their partners to sacrifice them if it was needed. Many heroes throughout the universe came together in a common goal and created an exceptional team. Although they did not beat Thanos, they were a determined team and almost reached it. With a common goal in mind and trust, this foreshadows that they will save the world in the future.
Thank you, Jasmine Perez. Um, Andy Vang contributed to the report by editing, and he was going to speak on his editing and his film analysis also.
All right, thank you, Joshua. So my name is Andy Vang, and I did the editing for Group Report 2 assignment film analysis. I basically corrected all the minimal spelling grammars and made the cover page. Well, my experience with watching the movie was very interesting, as I saw all of the characters struggle to defeat the enemy. It was interesting because the Avengers had approximately 14 million battles when Doctor Strange used his powers to find a solution. And out of all of those battles, they only won one battle. All the characters in Avengers Infinity War would play very important roles as they fought against Thanos and his army. They required large amount of teamwork and communication skills to defeat the enemy, and one member without the other would have changed many outcomes. All the heroes had tackled the main issue very differently, but they all wanted to win the war. In the end, everything did not work out in favor because they had lost the war when Thanos got all the Infinity Stones and snapped his fingers, and half of the population in the universe disappeared. Reading over the group analysis, I believe that the group report was very well informative because all the group members were knowledgeable about the movie Avengers Infinity War. The introduction really dug deep into the sources of the movie and talked upon the creators and contributors of the movie. The summary includes the main ideas of what the common goal is to defeat the enemy. The analysis talks upon the form of teamwork in order to accomplish one goal. The discussion discusses about the communication skills required in order to meet their differences. And the conclusion shows that even though that they had their differences, the heroes worked out together the best way that they could to stop Thanos, although they lost.
Thank you, Andy. Through our film analysis, Group 5 felt that we had picked a movie that fit into the category of the ensemble cast, and we understood why watching a movie similar to this shows the different portions of team talk and how group communication worked throughout the movie. As all the presenters spoke about, the team talk was all noticeable throughout the film, and we have a better understanding of the communication done through team talk after watching Avengers Infinity War. This is Group 5's film analysis. Thank you, Mr. Ward, or Professor Ward, and the students of Communication 4.